This video is going to be about Alliance Honor. Every day you want to click on this blue plus right here. You can go in and you can see that the first option is always free. I also buy at least all of the 50s because those are very cheap. If we're in a place where we really need the extra points, it's helpful to also buy the 200s, but then it goes up to 1,000 gems each, which is pretty expensive. But if everybody even just buys their free every day, that's still very helpful. And if everyone buys free plus 50 gems, also very helpful. My personal strategy for this event is to get as many points as possible doing high level tasks, but you also want to do relatively high point tasks that are quick and easy to complete so that you have enough time to get enough tasks done. So for me personally, the tasks that are going to take longer are things like the training camp ones because I need to wait for them to finish. But while I'm working on that, I will not accept the training task until my training camp is ready to collect, and I'll look for tasks like these raid tasks that you can do really quickly or gems tasks that can be completed very quickly while I'm training my training troops so that I can do the one and then instantly get the other one completed. Obviously, another great option if you're working on training power tasks is to first take a training speed up task. Speed up all of your training camps to complete them, but don't collect them. Once you finish that speed up task, then pick up the training power task, and then you can collect. Getting 2 tasks done at the same time, really. Your alliance is ranked, but you're also personally ranked, so you not only want to make sure that your alliance is in the head, which ours is pretty solidly in the lead, but it's also nice to get a good personal ranking. Once you know that your alliance is pretty solidly at number 1, I would stop using items that you really need for like strongest chief. So like I'm not going to do big expensive speed up tasks, but I will still do, I will still try to get my really high point training tasks. And that's also when I'll refresh more tasks that require items so that my alliance members can save up their items for strongest chief and not go quite as hard, because at this point we're most assuredly going to win. And while you want a good personal ranking, you are competing against your alliance, so you don't want to push them to waste items on this event if you already know your alliance is first, if that makes sense. On this event, I was worried that we were going to have some pretty serious competition, so I did right off the bat take the free tasks, the 50 gem tasks, and the 200 gem tasks. Tomorrow, since I can see that we're clearly winning, I will do the free task and the 50 gem task. I will not buy the 200 gem task. Early on, you want to try to get the free and the 50 at the very least, and possibly the 200s if you think you're going to have really tough competition, because you're just going to bank those tasks to do, and if you don't need to buy more, then the next day you can buy less. But if you get to the end and you realize that you really need extra tasks, that's when you start getting the 200 point tasks. Then after that is 1,000 point tasks. So those last couple of tasks, if you don't plan ahead, are really expensive, and you want to try to avoid having to do that. The most important thing about Alliance Honor is that the top 2 left-hand tasks are yours to control. So you're going to click on those, and if you want it, you would click accept. If it is a task you do not want to do, you're going to click refresh. So this is really ideal. In this case, I'm working on a task in my alliance section, but I've continued to refresh the 2 tasks that are my personal tasks. And I refresh them enough to try to get high point tasks so that once I finish that legendary training task, I will then have 2 more. And if you can see, that's 520 points and 860 points. So those are big point tasks that are very easy and do not require items and are already things I'm going to be doing anyway. So really, really great. So being on top of refreshing your own tasks not only helps you get exactly the task you're looking for, but it also gives you a chance to get a multiplier on top of a task that you're looking for. It even means that if you found a lower level task, that it might be worth doing, because if you got a 200% bonus, it might give as many points as a more difficult task. Those training tasks are one of my favorite, and the reason is because as you accept them, you can go immediately into your base and then just collect your troops from your training camp. So I do try to keep my troops just constantly going so that once I pick up that task, I can instantly complete it. If you have this legendary training task, it's generally going to be 4 collections from your training camps of tier 9 and 3 collections from your training camps if you have tier 10 approximately. These rally for killing wild beast tasks are really great. This one only requires 5, so now it is initiate or join. It used to be that you had to initiate that one, so now that it's initiate or join, it's a really easy, quick one to finish. Other tasks that can be very simple are these predator tasks, and you can see that I've got a button to click refresh. That's because I'm an R4 in this alliance. You will just have an accept button or this X on the top if you're not a rank 4 or higher. The resource tasks are very popular, and at the bottom you can see personally for your alliance which kind of tasks people have. These legendary training tasks are one of the best. So that's 430 points. It's 540 points with the 120% buff, so that's why I really hope to get that one. Just to quickly go over some of the other tasks, obviously if you're going to be using speed ups, grab a speed up task always. They have these generic speed up tasks. If you notice, it's 7200 is 400. If you get the specific version of that, like 7200 building or 7200 training speed up, you get more points, but it's also more difficult because you cannot mix and match. I never recommend doing these chief gene empowerment things because when you go in there to use it, it's really hard to know how much you need to do in order to get the thing completed. Same thing for this chief inspiration. The other reason I don't recommend either of those tasks is because you should save those materials for strongest chief. If you plan on purchasing things, absolutely get these purchase packs because you get a lot of points for those. But also keep in mind that if you are going to be purchasing, but maybe not necessarily right away, try to get that as a task in your personal section, because if you got like a 200% bonus on this task, that's then 1100 points instead of 1050. And don't spend money on these tasks. I mean, the rewards for this event are not worth spending hundreds of dollars. I have heard people say that they were afraid to press refresh on the top 2 tasks at the top because they thought they might mess up somebody else. If you are not a rank 4 or rank 5 in your alliance, you are not able to refresh any tasks but your own, so you do not need to worry about messing up anybody else. Refresh those tasks if you don't like them. The next really important thing to note, you want to look where that little gift box present is. That's how you can see which rewards you and your alliance have unlocked and if you need or how many more points you need in order to unlock the rest of the things. So you can see our alliance has finished all of these. If your alliance has enough points but you do not, then that top row will kind of show that it's been achieved, but you won't be able to collect those resources. This is an example of an alliance that has not unlocked all of their things. I actually do have enough points to unlock this last category, but you can see at the top that the alliance does not have the EXP to unlock this last thing. This is an example of an alliance that doesn't really refresh their tasks very often. So you come in here and there's a lot of like buying tasks. There's 4 buying tasks, there's inscription tasks. These gene tasks are not great. So those kind of things I really do recommend refreshing, because even if you have those kind of materials, you want to save them for strongest chief. The big thing to keep in mind when you're in R4 or I5 and you're refreshing tasks, you want to just do what your alliance has a preference for. And if you don't know what your alliance has a preference for, then try to line up tasks with other events going on and get rid of tasks that are specifically better to do during strongest chief. A lot of times these expel predator ones, you don't want to keep anything below a 15 because those get to, like a kill 15 is 45 points, but a kill 10 is 30. So once they start to get that low, I normally will refresh them. If you're an R4 or an R5 of an alliance that is pretty inactive, then the kill predator tasks, even if they're low points, you might want to keep them around to have quick, easy tasks to do. If you're a rank 4, rank 5, you want to tailor which tasks you keep to your alliance. I don't want my alliance members to feel obligated to spend money, so I like to refresh spending tasks unless somebody tells me that they specifically want to look for one of those tasks. We also have a strongest chief coming up and one that just ended. So a lot of people have burnt through their speed ups. So I go through when I'm on and I refresh those tasks to try to get more of the kill tasks, the resource collection, the training tasks, so that they don't have to use their items. I'm also going to get rid of these shard tasks because yesterday we had an event to use those. So if they had any to use, they should have used them yesterday, or they should use them in strongest chief. Along those lines, I will also refresh the inscription task because you should save the inscription materials for strongest chief. Here's a 30-point task, so since we don't have anyone that's really low or really weak, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. And then you've got 30 minutes and you can try to get new tasks.